Hi everyone, today I want to share with you what we have been working on towards our Every Bit Counts challenge for the month of August. But before we get started, if you're new to our channel, I'm Julia. Erin's behind the camera and we are the Canny Couple, a small homestead family in rural Southwest Virginia that work every day to be more self-sufficient, merging homesteading and frugality. And we would really appreciate it if you hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. And part of our frugality is to try to preserve as much as possible to catch sales and to really take full advantage of the harvest that we're getting. And when I first thought about the Every Bit Counts challenge, I actually didn't think I was really participating until Erin and I talked about it, and I realized, wait a second, I actually am participating. I just didn't realize it. So these things kind of sneak up.
Work.
It's my everyday work. I didn't think any different. I'm just, right now I'm in preservation mode. Get it in the freezer, get it canned, do what you have to. So I want to share with you what we've been doing, how we've been preserving, some of the deals I've gotten to help our family in the future. And then what we plan on doing in the next couple of weeks that we'll share with you as well. So first, I'm going to show you what we've been putting in the freezer. This is where I've been doing the bulk of my work. These are goji berries. This is our second gallon bag that we have started, which, as you can tell, they're teeny tiny.
We've been gathering these for
months
now. Yeah.
Months, and they're blooming again.
They are.
They're blooming again.
I didn't want to tell her that.
I hate picking gojis. I hate cleaning gojis. I hate these things, but they're really good for you medically. So they say. We're not doctors, so that's just the information that's out there. My plan is once fall hits and the temperatures are more conducive for it, I'm going to actually put these in the dehydrator. And I've got a bunch of these to dehydrate. I mean, I got so many of these to dehydrate. Elderberries. So, as you can see, this is how many elderberries we've gotten so far. And for us, we have one tree that's easy for us to get to.
Well, one tree that's made it out.
That's made it. that we planted. Now we have a few volunteers. It's just a lot harder to get to that we haven't went through and checked. Erin needs to make the run over there to go see if there's any more. But we're slowly getting them off, and I think I'm going to have this quart bag full. And that doesn't seem like a lot, but this is going to be some really good elderberry syrup for my family. Tomatoes. So as you can see, we're getting tomatoes. I didn't pull out like the regular tomatoes that I put in the freezer. I typically put these in the freezer, washed, cored, ready to go whenever it's canning time. So I have been doing those. But what we have unexpectedly came across are the tomatoes. So I think this is bag number 3 that we have started.
Yes.
These plants, I would say they're probably 10 feet long if you were to lay them out in the vines.
I feel like they're still growing.
They're still growing.
I mean,
and we can't even tell you how long they are because there was no way for me to control these things. And we're losing some. And we have 2 types of tomatoes that we did. We did Matthews, that was a Buffalo Seed Company. Mm-hmm. And then we did a free one called the Spoon.
Is it teaspoon or just spoon?
Spoon.
This one was
Baker Creek.
Baker Creek's free one they gave out this year, and I've seen lots of people talk about
I've never seen anything like these, but they're itty bitty. Like they are itty bitty. Like these really little ones here, you can see, I'll open it up. Y'all can see a bit better that way. So, you see these teeny tiny ones? Those are the Spoons. These bigger ones are the Matthews. The Matthews have a much better taste to them. And what we'll do with these, because I don't eat fresh tomatoes. I eat canned tomatoes. I eat tomato sauce. Erin eats fresh tomatoes, but there's no way he could eat all of these.
I couldn't keep up with this.
He cannot. So what I'm going to do is I will take these and I will make tomato sauce out of them. They're tomatoes. They'll do just fine. Now, this is something I worked on over the last weekend, was getting our garlic. We had pulled our garlic a couple weeks ago. We had left it on our carport to cure. And as you can see, it looks really good. So I will actually be taking these and making garlic and honey. garlic and pepper honey. We'll be getting that process started. It's a really long process, just the peeling and all of that. But I have 2 bowls back there. It's the little old yellow bowls, and we'll be going through those, make some really good progress. I felt good about our actual crop this year of garlic. It was not bad.
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. It could have been much worse, considering the fact we don't water, we don't spend a lot of time on these. We try to be very hands off of these things. It actually did really well. Now let's get to my canned goods. So you all know I don't like to can at this time of the year, but the things are coming in where I have to can at this time of the year. This is one of the reasons that I felt like the Every Bit Counts challenge didn't really apply to us, because I don't do a lot of canning. I put a lot of stuff in my freezers as much as I can, but
And tell everybody why we do that.
the heat.
Yes.
It heats up my kitchen. I was able to keep the kitchen under 80 degrees, which I felt was really good.
Yeah.
We kept the house under 80 degrees. The back part of the house, you couldn't even tell. It was still 76, 75 degrees, which was really comfortable. This part of the house got a little bit warmer, but peaches and apples, I'm going to have a harder time with. So we bought a box of peaches. I got 19 jars, but one of them broke in my canner. So I actually ended up with 18 quarts of peaches. Then I had 10 pints of jelly, which I'm really happy about. I used the Pomona's pectin on this jelly, so it's a low sugar. It turned out really good. It tastes really nice. So we did that from the scraps. And then I made some vinegar. It started from the peach pits. I feel it a little bit heavier on the peach pits, but I'm okay with that. It'll give a really nice peachy flavor. So we bought the peaches, and I feel like I really spread out how much we ended up spending on the peaches, don't you think?
Yeah, and these were canning peaches.
They were canning peaches. They are not fresh eating peaches. You do not eat these peaches.
They don't taste good.
They do not taste good.
I tried them. I was curious.
He thought there's no way. There's no way. Well, yes, there is. These are specifically made for canning, and they do wonderful in the canner. They come out great in the canner. They hold up super well. Like, I'll tell you, the first year I did these, I followed the recipes they gave me, which was to cold pack them and then put them in the canner. I processed them twice that way, and they failed. Every jar failed. I had never been so frustrated. I hot packed them, and they still didn't turn to mush. And I was able to get them processed, but they processed 3 times and they didn't turn to mush. So these things are made to be canned. Now, the other thing I did while I had my canner out is I decided to start working on our blueberries. So I pulled out the blueberries and I just canned them in a simple syrup. Same thing with the peaches. I do a light syrup, 1 cup sugar to 4 cups of water. And I just do the blueberries that way. These I can use for a blueberry French toast. I can use these for cakes for Aaron, anything like that. These are a go-to for us. He can also have them in oatmeal for breakfast. So easy. I also ended up with some syrup, and the syrup has a little bit of blueberry in it, but this was the leftover. I hate to waste it. I don't want to waste it. I want to make sure I got as much out of that as I could, and I did. So he has that, and that can go in his oatmeal and things like that to help substitute some of the liquid. Now, the other thing is I got a really good deal again on chicken. 98 cents per pound for bone-in split chicken breast. I'm okay with that. I just deboned the chicken, get it cut up, and got it canned into jars. And I ended up with 14. I got, I think it was probably around $28 worth of chicken, and I got 14 pints and 2 half pints. I would really prefer to have half pints because this is more of a meal for us.
We just don't have.
We don't have that many.
We don't have that many.
We just don't have that many. We don't. This is not what I put my investment in. Actually, the pints, we didn't have a lot of pints before either. I did not make the investment in pints about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Before, it's always been
quarts.
quarts. It was always quarts, but I focused mostly on our fruit, which we would want a quart.
Tomatoes,
always in a quart. Sometimes I do a pint, but most of the time in a quart. Now, what am I going to be working on in the upcoming weeks? Potatoes. We just dug up all of our potatoes. The weather kind of really hurt us this year.
Yeah. I mean, they died off a lot quicker than before, and we don't put our potatoes up
We do not
and let them.
do long-term storage.
Yeah.
We've tried this for years and it's always been a nightmare. Now what I do is, because of how our porch is set up, I can set it up so they have time to actually harden off a bit, and I can work through them over the next couple weeks. But I have two 5-gallon buckets. I probably have about 8 to 9 gallons of potatoes that need to be processed within the next week or two. I'll be getting those into jars, into cans, because I'm really low on freezer space. I'm really low on freezer space, so getting those into jars for future potato salads, mashed potatoes, things like that, that makes the most sense to me. It would work out better. Aaron would be happy to have potato salad any time of the year where I don't have to do a lot of work too. He's like, yes, go for it. When I said that, he didn't say anything, but I saw his face. He was like, ooh, I can have potato salad because the potatoes will already be cooked. And so things like that would work really well. Beets. We got a good crop of beets this year, surprisingly, even though Aaron swore I wasn't going to have a good crop of beets this year, but I did. They actually look good. I pulled out my first test batch. We're going to be canning those as well because, again, I don't have a lot of room in my freezer. I'm really trying to make as much as I can shelf stable. I really want to get down by this winter. I want to use that downstairs freezer as extra storage when needed, not to rely on it as much as we actually do. And Aaron knows this. And I want to be able to use them for our berries and things like that, not to have to rely on it as much as we have been for our food. I want to make sure we have as much shelf stable as possible. So definitely getting those beets into cans. And we love beets. They're one of our absolute favorite side dishes.
It is.
It really is. Those Harvard beets are amazing. And I will share my recipe if you all want to know what those are. They're absolutely wonderful. A lot of people call them pickled beets. I think if you're on one side of the country, they're Harvard. If you're on one side of the country, they're pickled. When I first found the recipe, it was Harvard beets, and I went with it, and they worked really well. What else do I have?
Well,
whatever else I see and find. Apples. Apples are another huge thing. I need to have at least 30 jars of apples. I'm really shooting for 60 this year.
So in other words, I have to get picking.
He has to get picking. And the reason why is because Isabel will occasionally eat a peach and occasionally eat a pear. But she's still, it's okay. But buddy, you get out of jar apples. She eats them straight from the jar, like they're going out of style.
Yep.
And they're so easy to make into applesauces and things like that. She is an apple girl. If she really gets it honest, she does. So we'll be doing all this. We'll be picking. And if my temperature starts to come down around 75 degrees, I will actually start processing the tomatoes and things like that. 75 degrees is where I like it to be before I actually start doing a lot more heavier canning. I also pulled the rest of the plums off the trees. We didn't have very many, but I have enough to make some really good plum butter. I'm hoping that will be a good addition to our oatmeal this winter and in the spring. So lots going on. We will definitely keep you abreast of what we're working on and share with you and show you all the other things that we're doing. And if you all actually want to see how we do these, let me know. I'm happy to share it with you. Just don't yell at me for my canning methods. I found processes that work for me, and that's what I tend to focus on, not really what works for everybody else. I'm not a rebel canner, but I'm a canner of convenience. I like to be a convenience canner. I like to make things easier on myself, but I'd be happy to share with you. I will say that for most of my pressure canning, I do use my electric pressure canner. And I gotta tell you all, that thing has changed my life. I've been using it about once a week at least.
Well, yeah, but now with all the beets that you've got to do, you might be using it more.
The beets and potatoes, I'll be using it two times a day at least to make the run through. So let us know in the comments below what you are putting up right now. I know everybody else's garden is doing its thing. Let me know what you're putting up. What are you canning? What are you putting in your freezer? I consider that pantry. Absolutely do. And utilize that freezer to keep your house cool if you can. But let us know in the comments below. We would love to hear about it. Check out our link tree to see all of our other content. And as always, thank you for joining us on the Canny Couple, where we work hard, live simple, and enjoy life. Have a wonderful day.